Alright guys, this is my thing I'm doing, my series, and I'm just gonna start it off right here. The fact is that most alcoholics, for reason yet obscure, have lost the power of choice in drink. Our so-called willpower becomes practically non-existent. We are unstable at certain times to bring into our consciousness with sufficient force the memory of the suffering and humiliation of even a week or a month ago. We are without defense against the first drink. That's out of the big book, and I'm not really supposed to say names of groups or anything, but hopefully if you're smart enough you'll be able to figure out what I'm talking about. I am going to be doing a series of the 12 steps and 12 traditions of a certain group that has problems, and these people either are addicted to alcohol or drugs, but basically fall under the same guidelines. Most people do not understand truly what an alcoholic is or their problems, or even a drug addict. They just think they're worthless people who have a behavioral issue. And I am one of these people. I have been to rehab. I've been sober for 2.5 years now, which is ridiculous. It's awesome. But for this first episode, I'm going to tell you my story. I was raised in a good home, no problems. Mom, dad loved each other, never even fighting. I have a brother. We got along just great. And around probably when I was probably 16, I was a late bloomer. I was introduced to ecstasy. And most people's first drug of choice is weed. Mine was ecstasy. I did that. I fell in love with it. And continued to do that for a year, stealing countless amount of dollars from my parents and other people. I was not attending school. I would go and leave after about the second period, so I was failing all of my classes. And then after about a year, I finally got smart and quit doing that. But on top of all the excessive drinking and the weed, and I was introduced to Adderall and Vicodin. My mom had just gotten done a major knee repair, and I was stealing all of her Vicodin. So at this point, my parents don't trust me. I'm stealing everything that I can from them. I'm lying to everybody. Nothing that comes out of my mouth is true, and I'm basically lost. Some of you may think, okay, why would a normal person do this? A, I wasn't a normal person then. And B, it's a disease. A lot of people don't like to think of alcoholism or drug addiction as a disease, but I assure you it is. It is proven that it is hereditary, and my dad's father was a drug addict, and my mom's father is an alcoholic. It skipped my brother's generation, he's older than me, and it moved to me. And basically, what I read, saying we have lost willpower of choice in drink. Our so-called willpower has become practically non-existent, which boils down to we want to tell the truth. We want to quit drinking, but we cannot forcefully make ourselves do it. What it means when it says we lost the choice in drink, it basically means after that first drink, I have lost all control. I have the choice whether to drink that first drink, but once that substance hits my body, or that drug, my body takes over and I cannot control it. This sounds silly to most and say, well, just stop, yada yada yada. We literally cannot do that. We are so damaged on the inside, which we call spirituality, which doesn't mean we have a lack of God or religion or anything. This is not a religious... A lot of people like to think of this group as a big religion thing, and it's not. It is a spirituality thing, which every human being has some sort of spirituality, which you believe or not. And it's basically believing in a power that is greater than yourself. So, a role model, that's a power greater than yourself, if you believe in him and you want to do that. Some people want to be like Hutch when they're older or whatever. That would be your higher power. It's not a very good one or a practical one, but that's what it is. And a lot of people in this group like to call it God, just because that's the easiest thing to call it. But basically, we make a God of our own understanding. We make what rules we want for our God to believe in. Like, the religious God is a lot different than the God that religions do. I don't think that came out right. Religious gods are a lot different than what we believe in. We can make out of Play-Doh our own God that we want to believe in. And the lack of this is what makes us drink. Usually, spirituality can revolve around people who were beaten as child, sexually abused. And in my case, it was when I was 9. I was sexually abused by my neighbor, which I'm over it now. I mean, after going to treatment, you work through it and stuff. And I was 9, so I was at an age to where I'm not going around raping everybody out here right now, so don't worry about that, and I'm not going to in the future, but earlier kids will have a lot of problems with it. But anyways, we're not talking about that. But that was my spirituality. I hated myself. I couldn't trust in other people. I didn't see that in my own side, but that was what was back in my head, is that I couldn't trust anybody. I hated myself. I didn't think that at the time, but the drugs and the alcohol would fill that hole inside of me. So anyways, that's just what goes on. So it's my senior year in high school. I'm failing every single class. I agreed to go to rehab. It was my idea from my mom. But I needed to pass high school. So I got all my grades up except for English. And what my English teacher had me do was, I had like a 12% in that class, and it was like the last week of school. She wanted me to write a 7 or more page paper on my life. And I did that. And she handed it to the principal, and I had to read it in front of the principal, and they agreed to pass me from that class. And so I graduated, went to La Hacienda. It's a treatment center down in Texas. And I'm originally from Washington, so it's far away from me. And after staying there for 45 days, I stayed in the town. It's called Kerrville. I stayed here. And I've been here for 2.5 years, sober. I have a daughter now, and a fiance, and we're getting married soon. But I'm going to go over the steps that it takes. Let's see if I can find them. I should know these on top of my head. But anyways, what this program does is it helps people, but you have to be willing. And I mean, yeah, so next episode it's gonna be step 1, and I'm gonna go over that. And then after all the 12 steps, I'm gonna go over the 12 traditions and explain what those mean. So I really hope you guys like this. I'm giving a lot to myself. I don't mind talking about myself to an audience of people. I've worked through all my things. I have nothing to hide. And we'll just see how this goes, guys. Alright. Thank you.